Right, I'm Michael Leaney. As Ted said, I'm a software engineer here at BigCommerce. I spent the past year developing our mobile application that's in the App Store at the moment, and I've learned a lot about HTML5 web apps. I don't want to talk about that today because I think it's an often covered topic. I want to talk about titanium alloy as an alternative to building HTML5 web apps. So who here has used HTML5 to build web apps? Who has used PhoneGap to package them and distribute them? Quite a few people. Now, has anyone used titanium before? Yeah, a few less people. So, basically, I'm a huge believer in the web. I'm a huge advocate for the web. I think the web should prevail. I think it solved cross-platform a very long time ago, especially in the desktop area. The web makes it very easy for anyone to publish content and for anyone to consume that content. But there are problems with it. As you saw from the first talk, there are a lot of challenges and a lot of problems to solve. And it's very easy to get something quickly up and running quickly, but to solve all the performance issues and other issues that you have with those apps, it's a very difficult and time-consuming thing to do. PhoneGap is a very interesting piece of technology that allows you to sort of use things that should be in the browser, a part of the browser anyway. Its purpose is actually to cease to exist one day as these standards and APIs become more available. However, it does give you the opportunity to monetize your apps in some of the most popular markets, including iTunes and Google Play right now. So Titanium is a platform for developing native applications with a focus on code reuse through normalizing host APIs. You can use lots of high-performing UI components that users have grown accustomed to on their device. And you can use your existing JavaScript skills to build these applications, so you don't have to learn a new language. Alloy is an MVC framework built on top of Titanium. It's built upon Node.js, Backbone.js, and _JS. The awesome thing about it is that we can use pre-existing business logic from existing Backbone applications and reapply it to a Titanium Alloy project, speeding up development and helping with code reuse. I believe you should use Titanium if performance is critical, and believe me, it is. Facebook recently, a while ago actually, they artificially dropped their frame rate on their Facebook application on mobile to 30 frames per second from 60. And what they found was user engagement went down substantially. And they weren't introducing stuttering or anything like that. They just artificially capped the frame rate at 30 frames per second. And obviously that dropped the engagement and dropped the revenue from that. So it was very critical for them to build a very fluid app that ran at 60 frames per second. I believe users want and desire native behavior. I believe they want apps that are going to work and feel like their host operating system and feel right at home amongst the other applications on their phone. So Backbone is a lightweight library based on Model View Presenter. It has an extremely useful RESTful model system. The models and collections, Alloy uses Backbone for its models and collections. It has its own style of defining these models and collections, which kind of makes it really difficult to reuse these components across different applications. However, with a bit of magic, we can use standalone Backbone models in these projects. Up next, I'll show you how to write a very quick, contrived example of a Titanium application. So first up, what you need to do is you need to patch Backbone's sync method. By default, it uses the global dollars variable, which could be Ajax, jQuery or Zep2 or any other jQuery-like library. This patch will make sync use Titanium's HTTP client, so you can just transparently use that instead of it trying to use what's not there. So this is just a very simple Backbone model. It just reads some data from localhost. I wrote a very simple Node.js app that took Flickr's public feed and then repurposed it because their feeds are actually quite not very useful. Second, we just create a view. Alloy views are built on XML. Tags map to their Titanium UI counterparts. The cool thing about that is Alloy supports data binding. So in this case here, we have a cover flow view for iOS, and then we have images, which has some data binding to that photos collection. What that means is it will actually create all these image elements for you based on that model. So when it updates, when it gets a new model from the server, when you delete a model out of it, it will keep that UI in sync with that model. And you can target different platforms and different form factors through the attributes. Next, we create a controller that's tied all together. That transform function just takes the data that's coming back from the server and translates it into something that's a bit more easier to use in the view. And then we need to make sure that we destroy the view when it's closed, so all the bindings are taken away so we don't have memory leaks and stuff like that in our application. Next, we fetch the initial set of models from the server and open that window. We add a bit of glue in the initialization to include the overrides for the backbone sync method. We then fetch our common.js photos model, and then we add it to the Alloy collections namespace. Once you've got all this up and running, you get something like this. It's a very simple and contrived app, but hopefully it shows you the power and ease of use of Titanium Alloy. These apps look, feel, and behave like native apps because they are, and you can achieve 60 frames per second very easily. Sorry about the clowns. So, any questions?